Hello and welcome back to the game room. Today's video is going to be a little different than usual. I don't know if I'm the first one informing you guys. I know my channel isn't necessarily just retro adjacent any longer, but a big part of the community, Billy Hudson from the Game Chasers, unfortunately lost his very short battle with brain cancer. I mean, once again, I don't know all the details. The family is still coping with this. I would like to consider myself a friend of Billy's, but very tangentially so. And more or less, I just wanted to do a video here talking today about sort of the impact he had on my, not just my YouTube channel, but also my greater collecting life in general. So I'm not doing the regular intro, we're not doing the normal format here. If you guys don't want to watch this video, by all means, I don't blame you. This is unusual. However, it's a very, I'm not gonna lie, one of the biggest, one of my favorite shows on YouTube for a long time, it was the Game Chasers. One of the reasons why I know so much about collecting that I do, one of the reasons why I even know about a lot of the retro YouTubing scene, just gaming scene in general, is directly because of them. And over the years, I've really tried to, just develop my own niche, but I've always, I've never quite forgotten that initial push that I really had back in 2015.
That I brought to attention something that's been burning my chest. The Game Chasers.
When I was one of the large supporters of the channel. I was one of their top tier Patreons. Back then, it allowed you to have a monthly hangout with them, which it was such a trip, especially in 2015. It's maybe a little bit more normalized now that live streaming's been around for so long. But the idea that you could interact with your entertainer. And I think some of you guys know that I was pursuing being an actor for a long time. So the fact that I could not only watch Lost or Seinfeld or something like that, but then also interact with them. Go to a convention, meet them, hang out, have them in my videos, have a chance to be in one of theirs. It was just a trip, man. And to think that it's gone. That big piece is just gone now, and that's what, who knows what's going to happen with the show, who really cares. Leaves behind a wife and a child, which me as a young father, I have a 3-year-old, I can only imagine. And so I just wanted to talk about some good times here and kind of run through what interactions I had with Billy, some of the bigger impacts he had, and go from there. So yeah, like I said, we're not doing the intro, we're just going to jump into what I'm talking about. So back in 2014, this was right around the end, I guess, of my musical theater career. It's when I really had to start focusing on finding an actual paying job. At the time, I had really gotten over the modern gaming scene, as well as I didn't have money. I did not have a lot of money to buy games. So this is when my next door neighbor Ryan, who went by Riboflavin T Dactyl, if you've ever seen the first video I've done on this channel, that's who he was. I was Lucius T, he was Riboflavin, whatever. He introduced me to a lot of the, kind of ROMs, that kind of thing. Like something I don't really like, but it allowed me to check out some of these games.
Wouldn't you rather spend $300 of your hard-earned money for a copy of Hagani only to have it not work in your 1992 Super NES? I want that!
That's the way I played and beat Earthbound. It's how I played through Chrono Trigger, not the entirety of it, but a large portion of it. And then it's what introduced me to Japanese translated games. And I was so taken aback by this, that there was games out there that came out that I'd never heard of. And then I found out you could get reproduction carts of them on an actual cartridge, played on your Super Nintendo. That's how I got Treasure of the Rudress. That's finally what gave me the idea of, not idea, but that's finally because, I was able to get a real job. I started in sales, and then in sales, if you're good at it, you can make a lot of money quickly. And so for the first time, I had money. And that's what allowed me to buy this camera I'm still using to this day. The lighting equipment, the sound equipment. Now, the lighting equipment is come and gone. Now we have a much easier setup. But anyways, on a tangent. During that time, I was looking for some games I had missed out on because I was disillusioned on the modern scene. This was around 2014. And so I found Metal Jesus Rocks through his hidden gem videos, and through that I really became a fan of his channel, but nothing really else. I didn't branch out. I tend to do that where I find something I like, I'm not going elsewhere out of it unless somehow, you know, something comes across that isn't that. And with the Metal Jesus crew, especially back then, they're all pretty self-contained. You know, this was before John had a huge channel, Reggie, all of them. Largely, they were going on to Jason's channel. Then Jason did this thing where he wanted to do a Metal Jesus Rocks on tour type thing, where he would basically travel out the country, and I was a big fan. I wanted to see it. I wanted to be a big supporter of it. I was one of the big supporters of that, but it really went poorly as far as the general perception. But in that video, he mentioned the Game Chasers, a channel I'd never heard of, but he highly recommended him. So also at the time, with this sales job, I was not working... I was not working normal hours. In sales, especially this line of sales, people buy when typically you'd be off work, so nights and weekends. So my days off were Wednesdays and Thursdays. And so I would be, you know, my girlfriend at the time is not my wife. She had work, my family had work, friends had work. So largely I was sitting at home playing games and watching TV. And one of the shows that I really just liked having on as background noise while I was playing games was American Pickers. I used to even joke, I'd be like, American Pickers, that was just what I would say. And even though they were finding things I did not give a damn about, I've always had this collector's mindset. When I find something, I want the variants, I want the different things of it. I have all my old games since I was a kid. I had kept all my NES, Super NES, GameCube, N64, PS1, 2, 3, you name it. I never got rid of anything. I think the one time we did, we sold our Game Boy stuff. But anyways, so yes, I love the American Pickers format. So when I saw this show called Game Chasers, and then I watched the first few episodes, I immediately was like, oh my god, this is not only American Pickers, but this is American Pickers for something I really enjoy, and it's starring two guys who could be my older brothers. This is awesome. And immediately I really had an affinity for Billy as another person who does love making videos. Like, it comes across in his videos when he's outside of it. You can tell this is someone who loves editing, which is something I love doing. And a lot of YouTubers don't. You'll find that a lot of YouTubers will get to a certain point where they're big enough, they can hire someone else to do their editing. And I always feel a little disillusioned by that somewhat. You know, I don't blame you. It can be tedious. It's not for everyone. But it is something that I had done since back in the day before they had editing programs. Me and my older brother used to do editing within the camera, camcorder itself. Or we would use Pinnacle. Or we would do editing using a complex thing where we were connecting a PS1 to a sound mixer, copying it onto it. Like these complex things. And in Billy, I could see that sort of camaraderie, especially as me and him interacted over the years. I was lucky enough that I did get to hang out with them, the Game Chasers, and through them I met people like Norm and Pat and Rue and all these different characters that are especially prominent on the first couple seasons of the show, which when I got heavily invested was 2015. I drove out to Retropalooza 3. That's the only time I ever had Billy in one of my videos where I had him pretending to be a Terminator, and he was always such a good sport. And it was really cool. It was cool to feel like, wow, I found this community that was already around for a few years. I'm this new guy coming in. Yes, I'm throwing money at supporting your channel, but also, you know, it's one of those things where that relationship continued, even when I wasn't. You know, I still had my name in the credits for several videos after I stopped supporting the Patreon, which may have just been because of logistics, but you never know. And also, Billy knew I had an acting background, and when he was going to cast his movie, even though I live in California, he still wanted to basically consider me for a role in the movie. The one that eventually went to OK Chief, which was just such a cool thing, man. It was such a cool thing, you know, watching him do his editing streams. I learned so much just for myself. I was not doing any color correcting. I was not doing the same kind of framing or this or that. Like, just things that you pick up from osmosis. The guy was just a thesaurus of this thing, of this kind of stuff. And just in general, the preservation. Like, I didn't know what the hell unlicensed carts were. The channel Fairchild Channel F, Vectrix, the TurboGrafx, 16 Expert. Like, literally, the Game Chasers television show is such, well, YouTube show, but still, it feels like a television show. And it really is an education in these older systems if you're interested. Because I grew up on the NES and onward. I didn't give a damn about the Intellivision, ColecoVision, Atari 2600, Fairchild Channel F, Odyssey, and then the randomest things like, the Master System, TurboGrafx. The Master System in my family was a joke. We used to go by the bits. So we had the 1-bit was the Atari, 2-bit was Coleco, 4-bit was Master System, 8-bit was NES, because once again, being a Nintendo fanboy. And so, ultimately, what legacy is Billy leaving? It's something like, even if you have never seen the show, if you have no idea anything about retro gaming, if you go back and watch that old episode, I just did this yesterday. I went back and I watched episodes 1 through 12 just because, it felt better. You can forget that this person is not here anymore. And it's amazing. It's amazing how, at least for a collector, once again, I'm a collector of games. So it's amazing how you go back, and now I'm looking for new stuff. Like, I'm looking for the 360 stuff versus in other previous watch-throughs. I was looking for the PS1 stuff, or the GameCube. And it's just like the time marches on, but the snapshot of 2011 collecting, 2012, right before the big boom occurred and everyone was looking at this, is so invaluable. As someone who loves looking back and looking at a snapshot of what is and what was at a certain time, the Game Chasers really was catching lightning in a bottle, not only with the history of where the collecting scene was, where the other various collecting YouTubers were too, at least in the space, and then having it be wildly entertaining. Because I love that stuff too. I love the random Bigfoot alien stuff, the complete lowbrow humor, the fart jokes, the making fun of your buddies, like even things that they were ahead of the curve on, like the fact that when The Force Awakens came out, and I remember watching their video in late 2015, and them saying like, yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure how to feel about this movie. In the meantime, I'm thinking like, how could you not love it? J.J. Abrams, incredible. And then The Last Jedi came out, and then they were like, oh wow, they were right all along. And it's just, it's sad, man. It's sad. I wish, what happened was when I came onto the scene with my channel, I really wanted to at least make these other creators aware that I existed. So that's why I supported them. I came out to the conventions, but I genuinely wanted to just be, a part of the community. It wasn't one of those things where I was trying to do a stepping stone. Look at my channel, please. I didn't start actually getting traction until recently. I never begged people for shout outs. I never did this or that. And, I tried to have integrity. And that's what's nice, is that was a kindred spirit in that with the way Billy would operate. You didn't have tons and tons of ads. They didn't salt the mines, as it were. Like, it's part of the reason why the show has not had much in terms of episodes in recent years. It's because they weren't finding anything. And if I had won the lottery, one of my dreams would have been, I wish I could have just bankrolled the whole thing, because it really was, it still does capture that essence of the thing I love of American Pickers, but something that I actually enjoy seeing. And so in 2015, 2016, I went to I went to Retropalooza 3, I went to PRGE, I went to the Game On Expo, which is where I really got to hang out with them, which was a lot of fun. And then PRGE again. And then 2017, I had to save for a wedding ring. 2018, we had to save for the wedding. 2019, that was basically getting used to marriage and then kind of ramping up. That was the year that Classic WoW came out too. And I honestly, that was the one year where I did not do a complete schedule of videos. Like, I even met some other big-time YouTubers at the end of that year when I went to go see the third Star Wars movie. And at the time, I remember I probably could have done a bigger push, but I didn't have it. I wasn't really focused on it. At this time we were saving for a house because we were trying to buy a house in 2020. Then COVID hits. I lose my job. I have not recovered financially until just about now. And then I got laid off from that job, which luckily I was able to sidestep and still hang on at the company in a different department. But basically now I'm kind of back where I was in 2019 and finally getting ready to start going to conventions again and hopefully reconnecting. And the channel's doing better than ever. And it's just, it's too late. It's too late. And it's hard to believe. It really is. You know, seeing the recent videos too, it still has the same passion. It still has the same chutzpah. I mean, he made a damn movie after all. Like, and then hearing the other videos coming out from people who knew him better and the closer friends, hearing about the future and this and that, it's heartbreaking. And I don't know what to do. But I don't know if this long rambling thing, you know, is worth anyone's time. But maybe it's a little cathartic for myself, for someone who I really, even though we were never the friends that I wish we could have been, it is just one of those things where I really deeply respected the work ethic, the integrity, and regardless of outside circumstances or anything like that, you gotta respect the amount of self-sufficiency. As someone who likes making videos, the guy made a damn movie. Like, yes, I know it's not just Billy, it's Billy and Jay and the crew, but they would agree. Billy was the guy running the show. He was the guy doing the editing. He was the one driving it. And I don't think they would take any aspersions to that, because that's the truth. And so it's just a damn shame all around. And even though I'm not as connected to the community as I once was, it's always something you feel like, you know, was just there. Like, I went to the Roseville Gaming Expo and I got to see, you know, John Riggs again, which I hadn't seen John Riggs in like 6-7 years. Still remembers me. Still got to catch up. He knows my wife. Like, that's one of the funniest things with the Game Chasers was when they met my wife. Is my wife is very, very much one of the guys as far as that. Like, she enjoys that. She grew up around male cousins. And so she got right in with the humor. Like, the first time that we were all meeting, I think Billy was making fun of 8-Bit Eric's mom or something like this, or making fun of this or that, or some, I don't know. And she just came in like, oh yeah, you mean like I did with your mom last night, Eric? And all the guys, like, I think it was like Alpha, Billy, Jay, like all of them just looked at her like slack-jawed, like, who the hell is that? And obviously it made me look a whole lot cooler because she was with me. But yeah, man, I'm just sad. I'm just sad because I'll never get that chance now to try and, you know, learn more from him, be involved more, like have that chance to see where this journey was gonna go. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about here. I'm gonna miss you, man. I'm gonna miss the entertainment, the horrible singing videos from someone who's a trained musical theater actor who studied with Broadway trained singers, and then seeing this chode get his song played on the radio, Christmas Robotica. Like, you gotta respect it. And you never knew if he was in on the joke or not, but that was part of the charm. And as much as I'm going to miss the opportunities of, you know, the actual friendship that could have been there, I'm going to miss much more the entertainment, because, man, he knew how to put on an entertaining, well-oiled machine, and it's just a shame there's not going to be any more. So, yeah, not your typical video, guys, but hey, thank you for watching the Xbox One video last week. We're going to get back to regular programming next week, but I just couldn't think of and focus on anything else. So thank you guys for going through this history with me. And remember, if you have loved ones, tell them you love them every day. If you have kids, cherish them. It's the best decision I ever made in my life. So grateful for all of you guys. Sorry for the downer video this week. As a reminder, I release a new video every Tuesday. It's been so nice getting a hold of all of you. Take care.